Okay, we're going to come back into session. We're going to put on the screen the amendment we were working on with some new words. Councillor Van Dawson, we're back. Councillor Lang, not sure where he is. Councillor Kamada has left the meeting. All right. Yeah. Don't know if we want to send out a search party for Councillor Lang, if anyone have any volunteers. All right, so maybe wait till we're in the middle of debate on something and just sneak out. Okay, if you're still listening at home, that's great. Love that for you. Can we get that up on the screen? Yeah, okay. We're having some technological issues. We shouldn't have ever paused. While we're on an amendment, can I move that we extend the meeting past 9 o'clock? Yep, seconded by Councillor Archibald. All those in favour of extending the meeting past 9 o'clock? Thank you. Yep, so that was HF, Jenny Archibald, all in favour, unanimous. Okay. Now, we extended the meeting. Thanks for that. All right, so now we have on the screen the revised version of that amendment, which is a dot point at the end of the final numbered item. Councillor Lorver, as the mover, is happy with that, as is the seconder, being me. Do we have any further discussion on this dot point?
First Nations with capitals, please.
First sentence. Apart from that, I think it's looking, yep, that's right, that's happening now. Yeah, the small typographical things, I think we can probably not finesse too much, if that's all right tonight, because we've got a lot to get through. Everyone's comfortable with that amendment? I'm going to put it to vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. All right, to the next amendment. I'm not moving them. I'm waiting for them to be moved.
Where do you want me to email a dot point to? I can email some words.
Is it a dot point that we add under A, B, C, D?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
What's that? I'm going to email it right now to Agendas and Minutes.
And not everyone's on their computer, and we do need to work with what has already been submitted. So if you could point to it in the additional docs.
Yep, it would be.
Even if it's not the whole of something, just say it's this bit here. So what page we're on in the additional docs and which bit it is.
Move part of amendment that's on page 10 of the additional documents concerning investment in public transport.
So it's dot point 3, and it's the sentence, I believe, that says.
I've got what I've got here is it says investment into public transport infrastructure needs to be sufficient to handle both the existing natural growth and commuter traffic identified by Westport, as well as an additional 55,000 residents and 50,000 commuters to North Quay. And then I've just got a bit that I thought that we would workshop, because I know Councillor Sullivan had some on this as well, just about how we need an efficient, the second sentence is Fremantle community that efficiently connects the current and future residents with neighboring suburbs and key locations to the south and east of the existing passenger train station.
All right, we deal with those one at a time for the agendas and minutes. So Councillor Lorver, I'm going to suggest that your point about public transport infrastructure, we deal with that one, and then the broader network we deal with as a second amendment, just because I think it's going to be more efficient. All right, so is everyone clear on the words that Councillor Lorver is moving here? So we're in page 10, second part of 3, effectively. He's moved that. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Lang seconding that. Councillor Lorver?
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, this can actually be a lot better, and it's missing the second part. There's really just two parts to the public transport bit that I wanted to get across. One is that it's actually people in cars that are going to clog up our roads, whether the port's here or not. And so investment in public transport is going to be absolutely critical. And if we're looking at adding 50,000 or plus residents plus 50,000 jobs, that investment is going to need to be even more robust. The discussions with the future of Fremantle committee that I was part of with, and several folks in this room were part of them as well, mostly only dealt with the transport network that's this development might cause. It didn't actually address the natural growth in commuter traffic. So I'd like to get both of those addressed by some significant investment.
Just a request, where you say North Quay, can I suggest you say Fremantle and North Quay?
Yeah.
Could I just ask? I mean, I'm not sure where the numbers are identified by Westport as well as additional 55,000 residents and 50. We don't really know. I mean, I kind of feel like it would be better to just say we want public transport infrastructure that deals with natural growth. So North Quay and Fremantle, because so much more work has to be done. We don't know how many people. Using numbers to me is.
I mean, look, there's a couple of things. One is I need to understand where this is going to go in the recommendation. So, Councillor Lorber, I'll come back to you on that. Two is this sort of supposes one of the scenarios that's been put up through Future of Fremantle. So, I would suggest a much more generic statement about the additional growth delivered through this, whatever happens, kind of thing. Councillor Sullivan, did you have some words on public transport, or Councillor Williamson Wong? I'm just wondering if we can deal with this together, so that I don't want a second public transport amendment. Is there a way that we can, broadly speaking, when I read all of the amendments, they're about sufficient investment in public transport infrastructure. So
I'm happy with getting rid of the additional 55,000, those numbers, and say something to the effect as well as any development that may occur at the site.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's fine.
So as well as any development that may occur on the site. So, and delete that bit. Yeah, thanks. And commuter traffic identified by Westport.
Yeah, so it's in the.
Could we just say natural growth in commuter traffic as well as any development that may occur? Yeah. We don't need to reference it, I guess, was my concern.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to delete identified by Westport. I'm going to quite assertively chair from here on, because I think we do need to keep moving. So Councillors Williamson, Wong and Sullivan, you both had amendments on this. Do you feel like this amendment is also going in that direction, or are there any minor changes that Councillor Lorber could consider that would help address any concerns you want to raise?
So I presume, so just to be clear, Councillor Lorber's new bit will go into a dot point of 5, is that right?
Councillor Lorber, what was your thinking on that? Was it to go into 4 because 4 already deals with public investment, infrastructure investment? No?
I'm happy for it to go wherever. I mean, as long as the statement is made in a way that's clear, I'm happy to take advice on wherever staff thinks is best.
So I think the staff would prefer it to go under critical issues at the end as a dot point. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, and I would probably still move my more overarching one in later after we deal with this.
Yep. Sure. Okay. Okay. Delete that. Yep. Okay. Are we all clear on the amendment that's been moved by Councillor Lorber and seconded by Councillor Lang and finessed by everyone? Did anyone wish to speak on it? Councillor Sullivan, did you wish to speak? Cool. All right. All those in favour? Just hold on a sec.
I think we lost a sentence.
No, I think that is all of it, isn't it, Councillor Lorber?
There was the bit about. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
About the network efficiently connecting current and future residents with
No, I didn't do. Sorry, I didn't agree to that being part of this amendment. I want to deal with that as a separate amendment. So this is only that first bit. We just pulled that out, done it cleanly without public transport infrastructure, and when we come to the network one, then we'll deal with the broader network.
We can then
Yep.
delete the word specifically.
Yep.
That makes it shorter.
Yep, I like this editing. It's good.
Yeah, should it read must be sufficient? Or you want to keep it needs to be?
But whatever.
Must be is fine.
Yeah, must be. Okay, I am going to put this amendment. The other one we'll deal with as another amendment. Everyone's clear on what we're voting on. All those in favour, and thank you. I did call this before, and some of you did vote. And against, Councillor Van Dawson. Against, that's carried. Okay, so the next one we're going to deal with is the second part of that. So I think we're looking at page 11, which looks at an amendment to the words around the integrated transport plan or network. So we have Councillor Lawver's version of that on 11. I think is this the one you had a version of as well, Councillor Sullivan and Williamson Wong? All right, well, should we move Councillor Lawver's and then see if you can work with that? All right, so we're now moving the words in green that are on the screen and the deletions in red. Councillor Lawver is moving those, and they're seconded by, can I suggest Councillor Sullivan maybe, so you can, yep. Great.
I'm happy to entertain putting the red bit back in if that's what people want, but I'm fine with that as it is as well.
Yeah.
I'm just suggesting that my version, which was in 3, kind of deals with that anyway. So leaving the red bit out might be cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll deal with the stuff that's in the red bit in my amendment to the original 3.
Yeah, I tend to agree because I think the more positive language is also compelling as to what we are requesting to be done. So I am comfortable with what's on the screen.
Well, state them.
It's out in this amendment. Can you put your mic on? Thanks.
Sorry, everyone was just talking. Removal, I don't support the word of changing the word plan to network. Integrated transport plan is a generic term for transport planning, and network is very broad and non-specific. Like it talks about a network, like a plan is a plan, which is what we want, or what I would like and North Fremantle would like.
I'm not opposed to a plan. I just thought if it was a plan, that doesn't mean it necessarily gets done. And network means we want it delivered. And that was my reason for changing it. Like we want to see something.
Integrated transport plan is what it's called. Network is that's not a thing in transport plan. Like it's just a generic.
Would you entertain keeping the word plan or, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
And the second is okay with that?
Key location to the south and to the east of this existing passenger train station. Which train station are we talking about?
Basically saying to the south of the east of Fremantle.
Okay, I don't know why we're referencing a train station like.
So just say of Fremantle.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And to the east of Fremantle.
Yep.
That's always been our position.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. It's just the reference to the train station really threw me because there's lots of talk of moving train stations and all that sort of thing. So that's just kind of.
Thank you. This is useful.
I like the original wording because it does talk about the key issue in North Fremantle, but if people
we
want
might
to
get another crack at that in 3 if you are happy to entertain it there. Okay, are we all comfortable with that? All right, I'm going to put that one to a vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Okay, shall we talk about 3? So Councillor Sullivan, if you don't mind, we're going to go to Councillor Sullivan's amendment now, which is printed on page 16 of your additional documents. And again, I don't want to deal with all of it. I would prefer it if we could just deal with the bits to do with 3. Is that possible? Or well, Councillor Sullivan, you tell me what you want to move, because it feels like D was already covered. So if we could just read through the words that are on in page 16 in green. Yep. Okay. I'll just let everyone have a quick look at that, and then I'll ask for a seconder. Yep, Councillor Thompson's happy to second that. Is there any discussion on that?
So just the main reason, I guess, is to just highlight that the existing regional issues just haven't been dealt with, and they need to be dealt with. So yeah.
Excellent. Well said. I'm going to put it to a vote. All those in favour? Yep, that's unanimous. Great. Okay, we can choose your own adventure now. We could continue with Councillor Sullivan's. We could go to Councillor Williamson-Wong's, or we could go back to Councillor Lorber. Councillor Sullivan, would you agree your D has now been probably dealt with on page 17? Yep.
Just quickly, I mean, the point of what I'm saying is that there are regional, there are regional services, transport services, and there are local services like light rails and ferries and cat buses and things that are just only about connecting one side of the peninsula to the other side of the peninsula. I was specifically trying to make a recommendation that was about ensuring that the regional network was also the network that connected the north and south somehow. So it's about making sure that the exploration of that opportunity is not lost. So I do see it as a fairly important standalone point. If the wording's not clear, then I'm happy to take suggestions.
All right, well, let's go to the wording. Let's go to what we've currently got on the screen, and we'll just plonk D in there and just see what we think we've got then. So not there. I think we are in the bit. Is it? No?
Yeah, I think we just, that's right. Yeah,
okay, so not to the bit around the connection of the peninsulas. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
So to be clear, E already exists in there. F is what we're talking about, correct? Yep. Okay, so yep. Is everyone clear on Councillor Sullivan's words there? Yep, seconded by Councillor Thompson. And we're just dealing with F, pretend the next one's not there. Yep. Any debate on that?
So perhaps I'll change that more directly connect the two peninsulas, because they don't, it sort of does already, but.
And just to be clear, what you're considering there is rail on bridges?
It could be rail on bridges, it could be
tunnels.
Tunnel, it could be whatever.
Yep. Okay.
It's just saying
not going around the edge.
It's a torturous bloody route right now.
Yep.
It could be so much more efficient, and that would probably remove the need for a whole bunch of other transit requirements.
And by rail, you mean heavy
passenger rail? So just
passenger.
Yes, passenger.
I think heavy. I mean,
I don't think
rail,
we need to be specific. I think the issue is, if
passenger transit options. I mean, rail signifies heavy rail to me.
Well, the reason I did that is because the existing rail network north is heavy passenger rail.
Yep. Okay. So
And
that's
the
what you
regional network. If you want to,
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah.
Leave it like that. I'm just testing that we all think we know what we mean. Okay. Yep. All right. I'm going to put that to a vote then. Councillor Sullivan, have you finished speaking?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. All right. All those in favour? Yep. That's unanimous. That amendment's carried. We've now got Councillor Sullivan's what is now G. So Councillor Sullivan, you're moving G, seconded by Councillor Thompson. For me at least, can you explain a bit what you're intending here?
there was a lot of conversation early on in the process about should the passenger terminal stay where it is? Should it be relocated a bit along Victoria Quay? Or should it in fact be in a completely different new location? Towards the end of the process, they very quickly backed away from any options that were to relocate it. And
If option 3 relocates.
as in there were some options or some discussion originally about could it be relocated to Rouse Head, for example, and what would you need to do that? If you did, if you had your rail options in the right alignment, relocating it to the north side would be a perfectly reasonable possibility, and it might actually also be the very catalyst that allows you to have a rail bridge that runs, directly to the endpoints of each peninsula. So the rail servicing both peninsulas. So they just sort of closed it off. I think someone in government kind of went, "Oh, don't suggest that; it's too hard." As long as we have passenger ships coming into the harbour, we will have limited opportunities to connect across the harbour. And that's why I'm suggesting that they keep the assessment of that as an ongoing conversation. Perhaps the wording could be better.
I feel like I'm going mad, but I really did think the third option did have a relocation of that to Rouse Head. So I'm trying to pull it up.
It did originally, and then it dropped in the subsequent versions. There was a whole big lump of proposed development west of Rouse Head in the 5-day workshop, and then when it came back out, it was completely gone.
I will trust you on it because I can't get it on my
I
screen.
think it's good to leave it in because it just is another option and there'll
Yep.
be heaps more work done. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I think what I was thinking was if we could specifically reference option 3, but if it no longer exists, then that would be difficult. Okay. Yep. All right. So, and I missed half of the last FFPC meeting, so that would be also maybe why I don't know. Okay. Any debate on this? Nope. All right. I'm going to put this onto a vote. All those in favour? And against? Okay, Councillor Lorber, I have no idea what you just did there. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. All right, Councillor Williamson-Wong, you had a bunch of amendments too, so I'm just going to check in with you and see if there's any there that sort of a residual after the other amendments that we have made.
Yes, please. I'd like to move my amendment, which was D, but will now be H. On page 19, yes. Thank you.
Yep, so this is page 19 and regards to Port Beach.
Yep. Maintaining the protection and conservation of Port Beach. I don't need to read it. It's on the screen. I felt as if...
I'll get a seconder before. Yep, Councillor Sullivan, yep.
Lots of what came out of the community consultation conversations that I was part of was that Port Beach is really important to people in Fremantle and from the broader metropolitan area. And I did want to change the wording just at the end of the sentence if possible, based on a conversation with Councillor Archibald. So not only to people from Fremantle and a substantial part of the metropolitan area, rather than, yeah, exactly.
All right. Can I just ask something? When you reference Port Beach, do you mean like where are you seeing the boundary of Port Beach in your mind?
Well, this one was tricky because Port Beach is obviously the closest south. I would also be happy to include Leighton if everyone was happy with that.
Yeah.
If Sullivan, but it is outside the study area, so it does feel pointless to kind of mention it.
It's Port Beach, but not necessarily sand traps.
I think, yeah, so this is just an ongoing challenge because I think the study area goes up to, and it does incorporate part of Leighton Beach in the sense that the study area does go up to Walter Place. So if you draw a line to the coast from Walter Place, I believe you are on Leighton Beach at that point, not Port.
I envisage it just catching whatever's in the study area that we can discuss / comment on.
Could we just say the beaches
in
on
the study
peninsula?
area?
Because
Yeah.
whatever it is, it still needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it's called.
Yeah. I think I'm just concerned that there's been a lot of emphasis on Port Beach, and it's really important that we understand that some of the impacts of the other developments as well in the study area
very happy
will
with
impact
that.
Leighton Beach. So, yep, the beaches within the study area.
Also, I do realise that I've then made the grammar incorrect. We just need to remove not only.
Yeah. The importance of this beach, so delete not only. Can I suggest a further amendment, or would you change words to the mover and seconder that says beaches and coastal reserve?
I'm happy with that.
Yep, and coastal reserves. Are officers still on board, or do they want to say something?
Through the chair, I think council position is managed retreat, so this is talking about protection and conservation.
Interesting. So we probably don't want to review our entire policy position by stealth. So perhaps the word protection might come out, and which is, and maybe you could say prioritising the conservation of the beaches and coastal reserves, which I think doesn't conflict as much with managed retreat. Looking to the director for some view on this.
We're talking about coastal reserves. In fact, it would be to follow our positioning.
Yeah.
It would be maintaining and expanding
coastal reserves.
The coastal reserves in the study area.
Yep.
As a priority. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually that's probably a good way of dealing with it. And sorry, Councillor Williamson-Wong, it's not very difficult to know what we've decided previously as policy and write consistently with it. But I think this is going to achieve the same objective.
So it's maintaining and expanding.
Yeah. Increasing, actually, is probably the right terminology. Study area. Within the study area as a priority. Maybe we could change it to importance of beach access and amenity to people from Fremantle. We need to delete one beach or this beach. So delete this beach or delete the word this. So it's more than one beach. So importance of beach. Yep. Okay. I reckon we're close enough to know what we're agreeing to there, and I think we are consistent with our policy position on managed retreats. So good work, us. Any other discussion on that one? All right, I'm going to put that to a vote. All those in favour? And that is unanimous. Is it? Yep. Fast hands, people. All right. Back to Councillor Lorber. Are there residual amendments, Councillor Lorber, that you feel haven't been addressed through what we've done so far?
Yes, on page 12, I had an amendment that dealt with the potential relocation of non-containerized trades prior to the container port as a way to help facilitate development of Vic Key. So I've just sent through a dot point paragraph to the minutes that kind of mostly captures it. I was writing on the run there, so if we could.
Can you point us to it in the additional docs?
15, is it?
Page 15.
There we go. Nope, sorry. I said the wrong page earlier. It's a page 14. And what I did was I took a bit of those two paragraphs in dot one and kind of squished them a little bit together and deleted some of the stuff. And then I also took some out of part A. So basically just combined those three into one. And have you received it? Okay. Great.
I thought I made things confusing.
What's that?
I think it's all going.
Yeah, I think
critical
we're all.
issues.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I'm trying to redo because some of mine had context in different spots, so trying to combine them. Yeah.
And
How did he end up presenting it all?
So and the intention is really just to try to get future of Fremantle, and I took out Westport because it's just the future of Fremantle to really explore that option. Because as a staged development, I mean, we really want to see South Key or Vic Key, whatever we call it, that area of town really develop and thrive. And by relocating some of those trades, auxiliary trades at the port, we could really get going on that as quickly as we can. So.
okay, can I suggest that we take out some, because now that we're in critical issues, we probably need to take out some of the preamble there. So just looking at the officer's version of this, which was pretty short and might be
we can
easier.
just take that first sentence off if people
yeah,
want.
it's
A
more
thorough
like that.
investigation into the possibility of relocating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not just Victoria Key, because they're talking about shoving Roro
Over the other side. Maybe.
Yeah.
to the other
Yeah.
side. So it's better to not say.
So we might want to say to activate. Is that last bit now okay still? Might.
Yeah, and you might just want to reduce the words.
Activate and grow.
There's an acceptance of a new container port being built in Cockburn Sound. In there. We're losing them one by one. We're going to not have a quorum soon, so everyone else is staying. Good night, Doug.
So that first bit contained the bit about where it was. So that to help, I'm happy to take advice on how we can, because that just says this important corner of our city. And I specifically would like it to be the area around the passenger terminal.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to take advice on how best to.
Could we just put a full stop after Cockburn Sound?
Yeah. Yep. That's
because the rest is really. Yeah. All we're asking for.
Sure.
Yeah. Or if you. Yeah. True. I actually, can I just suggest, independently of, like, I think we would like those things to move, whether the container port's staying or not, to be blunt. So I would say independent of the Westport process, because then we don't say anything about new container port. So I'd delete and livestock. I'd go and livestock independent of the Westport process. Full stop. Or if you want to incorporate in order to facilitate activation of Victoria Key, that gives them some intention to it as well. I'm going to just read through what I think it should say. And livestock, independent of the Westport process, so with a comma, livestock, comma, independent of the Westport process, Westport one word, doesn't really matter, in order to facilitate activation of Victoria Key. I mean, my assumption is that means.
There just is a worry that the current version is going to be Shubro Row on the north side, and then nothing happens in a big chunk of the north side for a long time. That then thwarts the whole economic revitalisation of Fremantle. So,
well, we could certainly comment on that if that was at the time as well. I guess if there was a proposal.
well, I just say activation of the study area rather than Victoria Key. Just broaden it out to include the whole study area.
Okay.
That's good.
Yep. So we're going to delete Victoria Key and just include the study area. All right. All good?
Can I make one question?
Yes.
By changing it to independent of the Westport process. Now, Westport, they're kind of looking at it over here, and I think they'll be the ones that would actually do that work to recommend it. So I'm not sure if by having it independent of the Westport process
or decision, perhaps.
Yeah, I think if we just say project, the container port being built, because we know that's out in the future for forever. So that would say this, because ideally what I'm hoping to do is to get these three looked at as a first step.
Yeah.
I'd taken a lot of that language out around it to help facilitate that, well, what we have up there. So,
so maybe
it could start by saying, in addition to the Westport process, comma, a thorough investigation into the.
Yep, that would do it, I think.
Okay. All right. Let's see how it looks.
Yeah. In addition to the Westport, and could we say something like a priority investigation or a rapid investigation? Like, I think that's what your intention is, Councillor Lorber. I don't love the word rapid, to be fair, but
Timely.
So prior to the Westport, what was it? Your word, Sandra? Say them again.
It was just in addition to Westport process at the beginning. So just start the sentence. In addition to the Westport process, comma, a thorough investigation into the possibility of possible relocation, I suspect this means.
Possible relocation, Of
possible relocation of auxiliary trades.
And then we
can
get
rid of independent of Westport process.
Okay, does it still make sense with the start of the lettered items? Maintaining and increasing an assessment. We may need to do a small amount of changes to the starts of some of these sentences just so they make sense in the context of the headline point, but it's probably okay. Does that deal with your intention, Councillor Lorber?
Yep, that looks good.
Good. All right, I'm going to put that one to a vote. All those. Sorry, did we get a seconder? I thought Councillor Sullivan was the seconder. Yeah, sorry, I didn't call it out. So it was moved by Councillor Lorber and it was seconded by Councillor Sullivan, and now we're going to vote on it. All in favour? That's unanimous. Do we have a quorum? Yep. So is Councillor Van Dawson left? It's nothing like the council meetings of the 80s, is it, Councillor Archibald? They went all night. We were all perfectly comfortable. Do we have further amendments?
I'm working on the shortening the one to support the arts. Melody sent through a dot point, but I need to get it a little bit better, so I'm happily finish that up right now.
Can I suggest that, I mean, this is interim and it will come back to us, and we can always put it on the agenda for February and have another discussion, or we can do an IEM and come up with more ideas, because we have flagged it's interim. So I feel like we're spending a lot of time we've already included quite a bit of work, and I just feel like in the spirit of a council meeting, we need to move on,
Yeah.
and we can bring stuff back.
I am of the same view, and look, I think we agree on all of these things, but I'm also a little bit concerned that we could list out, sustainable marine enterprises. We could list out, so without backing away from the arts thing, I'm just a little bit worried that we're moving out of planning and into economic development here, and this really is an item that comments on a planning document that the Future of Fremantle have put out. So I think if we did get into the economic development side, I'd be really concerned that we're going to start writing another very long list. So you're welcome to move any version of that. I'm going to be cautioning against getting into another list writing exercise.
All right, we can work on that at another date. Can you scroll up or down, however, to get to the earlier dot points? I did see it. Wait, stop. What is it? Down one more, I think. Oh, there was a word in one of them that needed to be deleted. Oh, I'll look at it later.
All right, I am going back to the item now as amended. The amendments are on the screen. Excellent. Yep. And I'm going to put this item to a vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous, fortunately.
I was thinking I might close and give a very long speech, but I'll delay it for the next time.
Thank you, Councillor Archibald. Excellent. All right. I'm going. Yep. Correct, Councillor Sullivan. I am going to ask which items people would really like to speak on. Councillor Kamada had hoped to speak about the audit. He's not there. I would welcome another member of Audit and Risk Committee to say a few words about that because it's a very good thing. So perhaps I'm going to call that one out specifically. I'm looking to move a number of other items on block. In fact, possibly all of them apart from that one, apart from the confidential one and the NOM. So to be clear, see items 14 through to 19 minus the ARMC one. So if you're looking at your agenda page, then everything between see item 14 and see item 19, except for AMRC 1. I'm proposing to move those on block. Councillor Sullivan seconding it. All those in favour? Excellent. I'm going to ask for a mover for ARMC 1 audit. Councillor Lorber, and seconded by Councillor Archibald. Did you wish to speak, Councillor Lorber? Councillor Archibald.
Yes, thank you. We did, Councillor Kamada and myself received an email from the newly appointed chair to the audit committee, and I know it's late, but I think it's really important just to quickly read this out. As the newly endorsed chair of Audit and Risk and Management Committee, I would like to acknowledge the outcomes achieved by the city in this report. Firstly, for those who weren't there as part of the committee meeting, we had a successful closeout meeting with OAG and the contracted auditor, providing the city with an unqualified report. Our financial statements fairly represent the city's position and performance. The audit has been finalised prior to the end of the calendar year. In my time, I'm not sure this has ever happened, and in recognition of the work of city staff to manage our finances during the year, familiarise the auditors with our systems and process, and work with the auditors to address any questions in an efficient fashion. Audits can be a distraction, and finalising this audit means that we can put the last financial year behind us and effectively manage this year's finances. Not to mention, we can publish the annual report in a time frame which makes sense. And importantly, the city achieved a really strong financial outcome for the last financial year. I'd like to acknowledge the effort of staff to ensure our house is in order. The knowledge that we adequately understand and manage our finances enables the Council to focus our efforts on the matters of strategic importance rather than worrying about the validity of our books. I'm looking forward to the committee providing important oversight of Council's finances and risks, and I encourage other elected members to engage with the committee when they can. And I would like to just add my own personal congratulations to the staff. It really was an incredibly uneventful audit meeting, and the outcome really is wonderful to see. So could you please pass on the congratulations to the staff as well? Thank you.
And I certainly look forward to the Herald perhaps printing that in full. If they're still listening. Okay, I'll put that to a vote. All of those in favour? That's unanimous. I'll go to the NOM. Councillor Law, I'm guessing you would like to move that. And a seconder for that, Councillor Lang. Did you want to speak on the item?
Just thanking everyone for the work. There's been a tremendous amount of input from other councillors and from staff on getting to this point. So it's going to be exciting to see this report when it comes back, because we'll have a lot of options to choose from on how we might wish to increase tree canopy and protect what we currently have.
Councillor Lang? Okay. I am going to put this on to a vote as well. All those in favour? That's unanimous. I'm going to move that we go behind closed doors. I'm going to look for a seconder